But let's begin this morning at the White House, where President Joe Biden met with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy over the looming debt ceiling crisis. Despite describing the negotiations as productive, McCarthy says he and the president are still apart on the terms of a deal. Nancy Cordes is at the White House with more. Nancy, good morning.
We are one day closer to the deadline with no agreement that would stave off a default. The president and the House Speaker met here at the White House again yesterday, and they agreed to talk every day until they get a deal. But there aren't that many days left.
We still have some disagreements.
The president and the speaker called their Monday meeting productive, but they did not produce a deal.
I think the tone tonight was better than any other time we've had discussions.
And so negotiators got back to work last night, haggling over spending cuts Republicans are seeking in exchange for their votes to raise the nation's borrowing limit. Failure to raise it in the next 9 days could result in the first ever U.S. government default.
It's time for the extreme MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives to get real about the crisis that they have created.
Without the ability to borrow, the federal government might have to put on hold paychecks for 4 million government workers and benefits for nearly 70 million Social Security recipients.
This is what we live on.
Virginia retiree Sharon Jenkins says without that monthly check, she can afford to pay her rent, but that's about it.
And I work very hard for that Social Security, and I think I'm owed that Social Security, and I don't think the government has the right to take it away from me.
The latest White House offer would keep government spending flat for the next 2 years. Republicans want to cut spending further and then cap it for 6 years, with one major exception.
Defense should not be on the table. It's a responsibility.
The Treasury Secretary sent yet another letter to lawmakers Monday, reminding them that it is highly likely Treasury will no longer be able to pay all the government's bills come early June. And if Wall Street starts to get worried, the economy could take a hit even sooner.
Markets will start to unravel. Stock prices will decline. Interest rates will rise. It'll be tougher to get a loan. And ultimately, if it continues on for very long and we breach, then we'll have a recession.
President Biden has been pushing for tax revenue to be part of this deal, closing loopholes for the wealthy and corporations. But Speaker McCarthy has rejected that. Both he and the president insist they can get an agreement before the deadline. And for now, Anne-Marie, the markets seem to be comfortable with that.
Well, that's a little bit of good news. Nancy, thank you very much. Well, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is set on passing a debt ceiling bill only if it includes spending cuts. Here's what he said to our Nikole Killion yesterday when she asked him if a clean debt limit bill is even possible.
Let me be clear. No, we're never putting a clean debt ceiling on the floor. We've passed the bill. We have the ability to do this. You don't have to worry because we have a bill over on the Senate side that they can pass that raises the debt ceiling. We can get this job done now. I don't think it's productive for anybody to keep kicking the can down the road.
All right, so Nikole Killion is joining us now with more on this from Capitol Hill. Nikole, Speaker McCarthy, pretty clear there. How does the upcoming holiday weekend, though, further complicate things? Because it's not like they're going to be here, or they're not supposed to be here. Maybe they will be. And also, I want you to kind of play out the timeline, because it's not like, all right, we got a deal, everyone, let's head out for the long holiday. It's going to take several days before this can actually sort of get anywhere close to the president's desk.
Yeah, well, I think the holiday is a non-issue here. I mean, other than, for those who have plans for the Memorial Day weekend, they may have to tweak them, cancel them, adjust them. And, like anybody at work, sometimes when you get a project dumped on you at the last minute, I mean, that's kind of what we're seeing right now with this bill. I mean, certainly the speaker has made clear that if and when they reach a deal that he expects House members to do their job. So whether that means a vote following falls over that holiday weekend and they have to come back and deal with that or stay and deal with it, I think is certainly a possibility. But excuse me, the timetable here is very truncated in the sense that, again, we're now 9 days away, and the Speaker has also made clear that it takes time to not only craft legislation, but also there's this thing where you've got the 72-hour rule, which many Republicans say they're going to hold the Speaker to. So even once a bill is crafted, lawmakers want 72 hours to review it. That's 3 days. So you're already shaving 3 days off the clock, which leaves 6 days for them to reach a deal, write the bill, read it, and pass it. So it, again, does not leave enough time, but the Speaker remains confident. As he said to us yesterday, he's going to continue to talk to President Biden. He has encouraged the negotiators to continue talking in the hopes that they can craft something. I mean, he said it is really critical that they try to get a deal this week in order to meet that timetable.
Indeed. So last night on America Decides, anchor Caitlin Huey-Burns asked Republican Congressman David Joyce if there was anything that he would be willing to give up from the GOP debt limit bill that the House passed in order to reach a deal. And here's what he had to say.
I think it's premature to talk about giving anything up because we're the only game in town. We passed the bill. The Senate's done nothing. And the president for 97 days has sat on his hands. I think in this case, it's specifically the president to start talking realistic numbers with Kevin, the Speaker, so we could start putting together a bill that works.
I mean, it's not surprising that he wouldn't really give an answer because you're in the middle of negotiating. So how well would your negotiations go if you were like, I'm willing to give up these 3 things? That wouldn't be good. But he is sort of sending a message. So what does this sort of signal? What is he signaling?
Well, look, I mean, again, these negotiations are ongoing. I mean, Republicans have been pretty firm that they want the White House and Democrats to swallow this bill that they passed, the Limit, Save, Grow Act, to raise the debt ceiling / federal spending by more than $4 trillion. Of course, the White House and Democrats have made clear that they're not going to go for all of that. And, you know, Republicans, at least thus far, have not offered a whole lot of concessions from what we've been able to glean in terms of the talks. I think, you know, one area where there could be some movement or discussion is this issue of spending levels. Again, the Speaker, House Republicans, as part of their bill, have called for spending to be capped at fiscal year 22 levels, whereas the White House is proposing freezing spending at the current levels. And I know that's kind of in the weeds, but the bottom line is that, you know, that is one area of potential negotiation, although the Speaker kind of indicated yesterday he doesn't think freezing spending is really saving money, and he's been pretty firm on the fact that we have to spend less than we did in previous years. So that is why, you know, these negotiations have really been very arduous, because it is kind of a fundamental difference between both parties. You know, some areas of compromise that seem likely is this issue of clawing back unspent COVID money that wasn't used during the pandemic now that we're no longer in a pandemic. So that's an area of potential compromise. Both sides seem eager to do something on permitting reform. And while it doesn't seem like everything's locked in yet, those do seem to be areas where there's not as much disagreement.
Well, that's something. Nikole, thank you very much.
You bet.